We go. Right. Well, good morning, everybody. Sorry for the delay. As I said, we had a few internet problems this morning. So, as I was saying to someone earlier, we were just talking about going live and the problems that happen when we go live, and suddenly we had this problem going live. It was a dress rehearsal, obviously. So, welcome. Listen, it's a Tuesday morning here in the UK, and it's just after 8:45, and we are live. I'm hoping anyway, on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Amazing technology. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to this week's Leaders Live. I can see we've got plenty of people online already. So this morning, I'm joined today again for the second time, by the awesome Tilly Davis for a part two, as promised at the end of her part one a few weeks back, if you remember, in early July. So I'm going to come to you in a moment, but just quickly say good morning to us, Tilly. How are we doing?
Good morning, Andrew, and thank you for having me back.
Very, very welcome. More than welcome. Let's give you a little teaser, or let's give our audience a little teaser this morning. Like many people, you listening, you might be highly skeptical about the huge amount of LinkedIn lead generation to direct marketing, direct messages that clutter your inbox. If you're anything like me, I get loads of them, promising the earth, but in reality, can it really take you to the promised land, and does it actually deliver on the originally promised things? And one CEO described his lead generation experience. I really like this actually, as this was an analogy he used. I was expecting top of the range supercar, but I ended up with a clapped out old banger. Well, that might have been his experience. However, Tilly Davis uses LinkedIn really intelligently, folks, and to help you to grow your business. And her stuff just works. And I just want to say that straight up front here. And so we've got a lot that we're going on today. We've got, please use the live chat to communicate with us. So if you don't know me, I'm Andrew Jenkins. As always, please, I encourage you to interact with us. We love getting questions from you and comments, and we'll pick them up as we're going along. So, and also smash those likes too, folks. Really appreciate that. And please let me know if our audio is coming through okay as well. So, hi Tilly, great to have you on Leaders Live Breakfast Show again, my friend. So excited to have you here. Let's give you a round of applause. I could only find a few people this morning, so. So I'm just going to introduce Tilly just very briefly. So Tilly is the CEO of Marketing CX, and Tilly and her team deliver done for and done with LinkedIn services and coaching for business executives to increase sales opportunities by 45% through LinkedIn. And her LinkedIn tagline says she's an expert on LinkedIn, social selling, business growth, lead generation, and sales navigator, folks. So there's a whole heap of stuff there. And the last time we chatted, we talked about how LinkedIn has matured beyond just a networking tool. And we also talked about social selling and a bit about the LinkedIn algorithm as well, if you remember that, and how it all works. So we also talked in part, Tilly, about the importance and the role of LinkedIn profiles, but we also touched a little bit on company pages. And people I talk to about LinkedIn, look, Tilly, they're still confused about company pages. Should we have one, Tilly? And if so, clear. How should it look? And clear this one up for us, Tilly. Take it away for us.
Great stuff, Andrew. Yeah, LinkedIn pages is something that everybody is confused about. When you open a LinkedIn account, you automatically get a profile, and most people only focus on the profile.
Yeah.
Now, the LinkedIn page is in actual fact very important, because if you understand the difference, confused, and what you need to understand is that LinkedIn is actually a funnel, and it works from profile page to your group. So the principle behind it is that you will create a LinkedIn profile to position yourself as a thought leader. People buy from people, and you need to establish a relationship with your connections in such a way that they're going to know, like, and trust you as a person, as a personal brand. But we on LinkedIn because we want to do business. It's a professional platform where we want to do business. So you do not want to go on your profile and start positioning your business and your business services, offers, and products, because that seems to look like salesy and spammy. What you want to do on your profile is you want to add value through knowledge and information. The page is where you position your business.
Right.
And the beauty of the page in LinkedIn is you can position your business in such a way that your business almost gets a personality. In other words, people can start relating to your business in a similar way that they relate to you on your profile.
Okay.
And if you do it right on your LinkedIn page, and if you have a LinkedIn page, you can imagine, Andrew, if you go out with lead generation and prospect to your
Yeah.
business in a similar way that they
I'm
relate to
playing
you
back
on your
again.
Oh, you're
profile.
playing back again. Hang on. I know
And
what to do with
if
that
you
now. I
do
can
it
fix that.
right on your LinkedIn,
There we go. Try that.
yeah, that's much better. So basically, if you're in your page, what you want to do is you want to be professional but personal
Professional
with
but
your
personal.
business.
Okay.
So what you want to do is you want to position your products, your services, your team, your support structures. Get people to know, like, and trust your business brand
Okay.
in the same way that what you would do in your profile. So that is the main purpose of your page in LinkedIn, is to really start positioning your business in such a way that people can relate to it. But it's got a second role, Andrew. The second role is, as you build your connections on your profile and they start connecting with you, you build relationships, they start to know, like, and trust you. You want them to do further action. So you use the LinkedIn funnel system and you push them from your profile to your page, where you can now introduce them to your business. And what the beauty of that is, it strengthens you as a thought leader, because it says, I might be a thought leader, but I'm backed by this strong brand leader.
Brand. Gotcha. Okay. So they're
My
different
business.
kind of posts, Tilly. So on your profile, you'll post things that are things that are going on, things you're interested in, so people get to know you. But your company
Yes,
page, the posts are about your brand, your people, your team, your business, things that are happening business
exactly.
wise, right? Ah, okay. Because it's really
Yeah.
easy to get those two mixed up, isn't it? And some people just duplicate the same posts as they have on their profile as their company page, and vice versa. So you're saying no.
No, you shouldn't do that.
Okay.
On your profile, you really want to position yourself as an expert, adding value
Adding
in
value.
the sense of giving people knowledge and information. On your page, the value you're going to give is get them to understand the strength of your
The
brand.
strength of the brand. Okay. And you said it's a funnel as well, didn't you? If I understood you correctly early on. So you've
Yes,
got your profile at the top, and then you move people to your company page. So follow me on my company page. And then if you're really smart, then you can move towards a group that you're
yes,
currently working on. Now, there
yeah,
might be a lot of questions around groups, and Inspired CEOs, we've started a group page. And just before I go on to that, James Baldwin, if you're still on, I know there was an echo earlier. I'm hoping that that's gone now, so we can get some feedback to say if that's better. I think I've fixed it, but hopefully it's okay for you folks tuning in as well. So please give me some feedback on that. But yeah, tell us a little bit more about groups, because groups has got a bit of a bad rep in LinkedIn since Microsoft took over.
the groups is actually a huge opportunity
Yeah,
because of the skepticism. Because people are so skeptical
yeah,
about it, because the
yeah,
majority of groups on LinkedIn is used as a dumping ground for articles and posts.
yeah.
So people will just go to various groups and just go and dump their articles and so on. But if you're clever and you create your group as an online community where
Right.
you don't post, but you rather focus on building relationships with your online community in LinkedIn, it makes it so much easier. Now, if you go and you establish an online community where your group members are going to get the opportunity to position themselves, to start asking questions, to start helping you to learn more about your own market, and so on. You're going to stand out in your group, and people's going to want to be part of your group. So it is a whole different strategy to the profile and page, because on the profile and page, you want to establish your personal and your business brand. In your group, you want to establish your online community,
Gotcha.
and you want to grow your online community in the group.
Yeah.
And if you do it that way, you really do stand out, and it becomes a very valuable resource and asset for you in your
Yeah.
marketing strategy.
I mean, it's so well put, Tilly, because I don't know about you folks listening in. I found it really. I didn't know there was a sort of, and it was really confusing the difference between what to do on groups, what to do on company pages, what to do on your profile, and what you've just talked us through there is so important, isn't it? To have a very intentional strategy for each one of these parts of the LinkedIn ecosystem, if you like. A strategy
Yeah.
for your profile, a strategy for your company page, and a strategy for your group. And I must admit, at Inspired CEOs, we've been starting a group page, and it does take time, folks, and it takes time to get your head around how an online community works. And yet we're starting to see that slowly starting to pay off. And they are different strategies, aren't they, Tilly?
Yeah, it's different strategies. It
Right.
depends on also your topic. And the nice thing about the group is you can take a topic or an area on your business that you want to focus on.
Right.
Um, as an example, uh, my profile is Tilly Davies.
Yeah.
My page is Marketing CX. My group is customer marketing focus on the customer experience.
Yeah.
So in my group, for instance, we focus on the customer experience during the marketing phase. So that is our topic. So the my group members would ask questions around how do you handle the customer experience during the marketing phase. So it's got nothing to do with my business brand or my personal brand. It has to do what is important to my audience.
Yeah. Okay. Everything about in your thing, everything about the customer experience, but it's also everything about
Yeah.
building that online community that which you support as Tilly Davies, right?
Yeah, we are basically the community managers
Yeah.
for our community.
Beautiful.
So, and sometimes some of our members will come up with really good ideas of how you can enhance the customer experience during the marketing phase.
Okay.
And they add value to each other. So it's not just us adding value to them, they're adding value to
To
us and to
themselves.
the other members as well. And
Yeah.
if you focus on managing your group as a community manager rather than someone that's trying to sell
Yeah.
or trying to generate leads, you really start building very, very strong relationships. I've had situations, Andrew, where
Right.
people in my group will refer my services to their network,
Okay, which is ideal, isn't it? Which is what you
which is
want, which is
ideal. That's
how
what
you're
you
building
want.
trust, right? Which shows
Yeah.
it's making value, right? That's really interesting. That. So
Yeah.
you folks tuning in, what thoughts have you got on company pages and groups? And if you've got any questions, please pop them into the comments field. We'll pick them up with no problems at all. Tilly, I'm going to put you on the spot a bit now, and it's easy to dance around the handbags when it comes to LinkedIn, but I'm going to put you on the spot. I've heard you say before that the money is the message. What is that about? And why do we need to pay attention to that phrase, "the money is the message," Tilly? Because I didn't understand that. Tell us a bit more about that phrase.
Okay, if you look at the messaging system on LinkedIn, it's
Right.
really your outreach campaigns. And it's in your outreach campaigns where you are going to start building relationships.
Yeah.
And it's in the relationships that the money is, because that's where your
Ah.
leads are.
Okay.
So now, where people go wrong, sometimes it's easier to explain what you shouldn't do than what you should do. So,
Right.
what you shouldn't do with your messaging system, and this is what most people do, you shouldn't sell. You shouldn't go out and try and get people to understand who you are, what you do, and why you are. It's
Yeah.
not about you, it's about them.
Them.
So in your outreach campaigns, what you want to do is you want to strengthen that relationship. Now, one of the important things is, and I see it often, is people will ask me for templates or people will go and try and find templates in their outreach campaign so that they know what messages to send out.
Yeah.
But the ideal situation is be authentic you.
Be authentic. Yeah.
Create your own voice, create your own style, and then reach out focusing on them and not on you. In other words, if I go out with an outreach campaign and say, I've got a quick question, can you help me here?
Yeah.
I'm building relationships. I'm acknowledging the person on the other side. If you get it wrong in your messaging system, what you're going to do is you're going to damage your brand, and people are going to tell you you're spamming me. Just please
Yeah.
go away.
Yeah.
So it's a very sensitive area in LinkedIn, but done right, it is the most powerful tool you have in LinkedIn. That's where the money is.
Yeah, right. I get it now. And done wrong, it can really damage your brand, right? That spamming thing. I mean, hands
Yeah.
up, for us out there listening. How many of us have been spammed, right? And it seems like every day people are just sell, 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 sell without any relationship whatsoever. And the first thing that comes out of their message is buy this, do this, and you've established no relationship whatsoever. Tilly, that's
The
really important message you've got. Carry on.
the other problem that people have with the messaging system is they write essays.
Yeah.
If it's I call it
That's
readers
hard.
fatigue. They send me such a lengthy message that by the time I get to the second paragraph, I
You're
think, how
knackered.
much more? It's a professional platform. We're busy people. You're talking to people that's running their own businesses, that's managers in businesses, that's executives. They're busy. They
Yeah.
don't have time to read all your stuff. Get to the point. Say what you want to say, and get it done and over with.
Yeah.
You know, um,
True South African style as well, folks. Get to the point, get it over with, use a few words, and I'm guilty of that too, Tilly. I have to say, I can go on forever in
less
my.
is more.
Less is
Less
more.
is always. Yeah.
Very wise. And you mentioned a couple of things there just to unpack that a little bit. Question. Use questions to your, the people that you're trying to build relationships with, and ask them and be curious about what's going on. Can you help me with something? Rather
Yeah.
than just a direct message, right? Of selling.
The way that one builds relationships, and I mean relationships in general, not just LinkedIn, is you
Sure.
ask questions.
Yeah.
That's how you get to learn more about another person. That is how you get to know people, is you ask questions. So why do we write essays or sales letters to people on the messaging system? Rather use your connections and ask relevant questions so that you walk away with a stronger relationship and more insight into your audience. Um, we're busy running a campaign at the moment where we do health checks, LinkedIn profile health checks. But when we go out, we tell people, we're interested to understand how many people know that the LinkedIn profile is healthy. Is this a problem you have?
Yeah, really good. And actually, at the end of this, I'll come to that again, Tilly, that you've got a health check to offer people here that are listening, and take that up, folks, because actually, it's really useful to have that health check about your LinkedIn profile. Is that profile or company page or both, or just the?
No, it's just the profile.
Okay, just the fine, understood. Okay, so I mean, we're talking a little bit about, well, quite a lot actually about the money's in the message. I'm sure it must be on many people's lips. How do you monetize LinkedIn, and can you monetize your LinkedIn efforts? What's the sort of strategy that works here without sort of breaking the rules of social selling, as it were, Tilly?
Monetizing your LinkedIn activities and your LinkedIn account, Andrew, is probably a discussion on its own,
Yeah.
and quite a lengthy discussion.
Okay.
But the whole thing with monetizing your LinkedIn effort starts with insight.
Insight.
You can't manage what you can't measure, and you can't measure what you can't manage. So the first thing that you need to have on LinkedIn is a very
Nice.
clear-cut marketing strategy. What is it that you want to achieve?
Yeah.
So that you know what you're working towards. So as a baseline to monetize your LinkedIn activities, you need to know what it is that you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And then there's various components in LinkedIn on how to measure that and how to go out with forethought of how you're going to turn your time and effort investment into money.
Right.
Now, the biggest area in LinkedIn to monetize your activity is content.
Right. Oh,
Uh,
yes.
and this is something very few people understand. You know, if you spend 30 minutes, think about it this way. If you spend 30 minutes on writing a very good post on LinkedIn and people start engaging with it and you generate one lead
Yeah.
that results in one client, you can literally, with 30-minute worth of work, turn that into £100, 5,000 Rand, whatever currency you're using. So if you know what you're doing and you know where you're going to with the activities you're busy with, you can literally turn every activity into money. The biggest one and the easiest one is content. So if you write a very good piece of content, and just by the way, Andrew, storytelling on LinkedIn works very well.
Very well. Right. I
So
just.
if you write a very good story where you place yourself, the
The
biggest one and the
position of
easiest one is
the.
content. I'm echoing again.
Yeah, I've just
If
got you. I fixed it again. Yeah, just moved slides and it comes out, so I've just fixed it. Yeah.
Yeah, so the biggest one with storytelling
Yeah.
is, put yourself in the shoes of your audience and explain to them that you've had similar experiences and ask questions in your post. The second one that works well is obviously the messaging.
Yeah.
So from messaging, you can turn one campaign into literally many sales.
Yeah.
So messaging is the second one. And then the third one where you monetize um, your activities on LinkedIn is if you have a very good funnel system in Sales Navigator. Now, if you create a funnel system in Sales Navigator, what happens is you can move people through the relationship process.
Right.
In other words, the relationship starts with second connections. Then you send them a welcome message. Then you send them content. Then you ask them to join your page. Then you ask them to join your group. If you measure it like that, you can monetize your activities all the time. So,
Okay.
this idea of wasting time and effort on LinkedIn is then actually going away completely, because every time you get into LinkedIn, you actually start monetizing your time.
Okay, and the key to that then, Tilly, is you need to have something to measure. So have a vision, have a marketing strategy, and have things to measure. So
Yeah.
taking people from the profile to the company page to the group would be one measurement, right? Is
It
that
would be one measurement. It would show you how well your messaging is working.
messaging is working, right?
It will also show you how well your relationship marketing process is working.
Or
It
not?
will
Yeah,
or not.
yeah,
It will also show you how well your content is working, because people is not going to accept an invite to your page unless they know you.
yeah. And also, don't be afraid of using the direct messaging functions within LinkedIn to
Yeah.
build that relationship, right? And if it's not done with spam, then you again you can measure that, right? How successful
Yes.
your messages are, not just the post, but also the messages that drive that post or the relationship you're trying to build. So it's both posts and messages. Is that what I'm hearing, Tilly?
Yes,
Right.
it's both content as well as messaging. Now, content on LinkedIn, there's a couple of things that people avoid, which they shouldn't, and that is articles.
Yeah, I was going to come on to that. Where is it?
Articles on LinkedIn is
There we go.
still very, very popular. So
Yeah,
you've got to publish articles, even if you just do two articles a month. That works very well. If you've got the facility to publish newsletters in LinkedIn, those works very well. Long posts, text posts works better than video and images. So do
Wow.
more of those. So, and if you do a long post, do a story post where you get personal, but you stay professional.
Right. Okay. So, just processing what you just said there about long posts are actually more effective than photographs and illustrations for building relationships. That's
Yeah.
really interesting. That actually, I hadn't appreciated that. Just a single, just a text block can work really well.
Text still is working better on LinkedIn than on any other platform. And the reason, again, Andrew, is because we're dealing with professionals.
Right.
You can think for yourself. I mean, if I'm a manager in a company and I'm on LinkedIn, I can't play a video
Right.
unless I've got headsets on.
Yeah.
And my manager is not going to appreciate that, but I can read a post.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. And we're all used to reading posts in business, right? And reading them fast
Yeah,
as well. Okay. And if they make
yeah,
sense, then yeah, you've made somebody's day, right?
yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's really useful. That actually, yeah. And don't forget your blog posts as well, which seem to be going a bit out of fashion at the moment, perhaps because of live streaming and video and all that. Blog posts still work, right, Tilly?
It works very well. So you can repurpose your website blogs and post it as
Yeah.
articles on your LinkedIn. And just be clever, because if you publish your blog post on LinkedIn as an article, just at the bottom say it was first published on my blog. And
Yeah.
that way you can drive traffic back to your website.
Okay. Yeah. No, interesting. When I do a blog, I post it from my website, so the link to the blog automatically, takes people to my website. Or should it be through the LinkedIn blog page? What do you think, Tilly? What say you?
I would publish my blog post on LinkedIn
Would you?
because it works better than SEO.
Okay. Right. Okay. I find that I get very little traction when I do that. When I use LinkedIn's blog posting mechanism, also means that I've got to rewrite the post as well, which I find annoying.
I copy and paste the same blog.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So I find it's a much slower burn, but you're suggesting otherwise, Tilly.
I suggest otherwise because the
Mm.
longevity of content on LinkedIn is 9 months. So
9 months. Okay.
9 months. So over a period of a year, that article that I publish on LinkedIn is continuously going to get traffic.
Yeah.
And the nice thing that you have, Andrew, when you publish articles and your blogs on LinkedIn, is you can repurpose them. So you can do a content piece and drive traffic to your article on LinkedIn, which drives traffic back to your website. So you have sort of a triangle going for yourself.
Yeah. Indeed. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And I like that trying because it brings people back to my
Mm,
website as well. Yeah, I think that's
yeah.
really important. Absolutely. So you mentioned Sales Navigator. Now, a lot of people I speak to say, who'll ask me is, well, have you bought that? 'Cause it's really expensive, and is it worth it? Is it worth it, Tilly? Tell us about Sales Navigator because it's quite pricey, right? And different
It is
packages.
it is pricey, Andrew, but I think if you are serious about your business and you are using LinkedIn as a marketing tool,
Mm,
you cannot do it without Sales Navigator. Sales Navigator is like a customer relationship management tool.
right,
It's a CRM,
a CRM.
and you cannot think for yourself. If you have 50 or 500 or 5,000 connections, how do you
Yeah,
manage them? How do you know where you are in the relationship marketing process? Just by looking at them.
yeah,
Whereas the main thing to me that Sales Navigator gives us is the management of the relationship marketing process. And that is key because this is where we generate leads because we're building the relationship. This is where um, the money lies, is within the relationship. Other advantages of Sales Navigator is obviously the search facilities.
It's more
If you
advanced, right?
if you speak to the right person at the right time with the right message, you've got a client,
Yeah,
not even just a lead. So to make sure that we are totally on target with our marketing efforts and finding and speaking to the right people, the right ideal client, it is so easy to find them in LinkedIn, in Sales Navigator.
yeah,
Um, so those two are the major advantages for me. It cannot do without. I cannot market without managing the relationship, and I cannot market without ensuring that I'm actually targeting the
the
ideal
right
client.
people. Yeah, so
And
building the
all,
relationship and creating the searches in the first place to build those
yeah,
relationships are what Sales Navigator adds to LinkedIn, right?
exactly. So,
Okay.
if you think about it in that way, it makes the investment worth it. You know, one client out of Sales Navigator, and I've paid for Sales Navigator for a year.
Yeah.
It's that simple. So it really is. I wish
True.
LinkedIn would give
Yeah.
me commission, but I'm selling Sales Navigator really hard because
Yeah.
it is the answer to your marketing efforts on LinkedIn. It's a cannot do without.
Yeah, and that's the way to look at it, isn't it? Is that one sales deal just pays for all the LinkedIn pricing. Both the LinkedIn Gold standard profile and your Sales Navigator. I'm with you.
Yeah.
So you talked about building your personal brand there. Just thinking about the time, and we could just keep talking forever. But I just wanted to ask you this as a kind of closer, really. You know, what is a LinkedIn influencer, and how do we become one?
Great question.
Mm,
I think a good example of a LinkedIn influencer is Gary Vee.
Gary
It's
V.
always, yeah, if you look at some of the influencers, Tony Robbins,
Yeah,
Richard Branson,
yeah,
and all of the LinkedIn influencers that
mm,
stands out. So how do you become one?
yeah,
By adding value. Sometimes the easiest way to explain something is to get silly, but monkey see, monkey do is actually what this is all about. Look at the examples of the influencers and what they're doing. Now, one thing that stands out, if you look at influencers, they never sell. They always just add value. They are consistently present. They consistently post. They post more than once a day. They always just they show up. So that is the first and foremost. If you want to become a LinkedIn influencer, you've got to show up. You
show up.
can't just you can't just think I'm going to become an influencer, but you only log into your LinkedIn once a week. That's not going to work. Your focus area must be to add value.
Okay.
Um, if you look at the influencers that I've just mentioned, I don't think I've ever saw a sales post from Gary Vee.
Right. No, indeed. Interesting. And
So
that whole thing about adding value there, and number of connections as well. Are they have they got massive followings? Is that what you
they've got
notice as well?
they've got massive
Mm,
followings in the sense that followers, not necessarily connections. So
right.
an influencer is not necessarily someone with the 30,000 connections.
Hmm.
Influencer is someone that somebody wants to follow.
Yeah.
In other words, I get so much value from you. A connection doesn't matter to me. I want to follow you.
Follow you.
So they might have 1 million followers, but only 5,000 connections. So an influencer isn't necessarily someone with a lot of connections. An influencer is someone that adds so much value that they become a cannot do without for other people on LinkedIn, that they literally, I mean, I go in regularly and search for Gary Vee's posts because I learn from it.
Yeah.
I enjoy reading it. And that is what an influencer really is. So if you aspire to become an influencer, focus on adding such value that people want to follow you and want to read your very next post.
Gotcha. Subtle difference then between followers and connections. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. And I've noticed with their profiles that they don't have a connection button on, but they have a follow button, right? Which you can do in
They have a
LinkedIn.
follow button, and it's a setting in LinkedIn. I mean,
Yeah.
you can set it up in LinkedIn that people rather follow you than to connect with you.
Right.
And if you aspire to become an influencer, that is what I would suggest you do, is go and find, go and write posts so that you get more followers, because therein lies a story. Because every person that follows you, remember, their network can see your stuff as well. So it is far better to go out and add so much value to other LinkedIn users that they want to follow you, because you're going to get more and more exposure that way.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, thank you. Edmy's just said, I'll just see if I can push this onto the screen. Where has it gone? Yeah, there it was. Did I get that? Yeah. Love that difference between follower and connection. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a very subtle one, isn't it, Edmy? So, yes, thank you for that. Yeah, listen, we could just carry on going, couldn't we, you and I? Thank you ever so much. Yeah, we could indeed. So Tilly mentioned earlier, just want to sort of say, finishing off here, I hope you found that useful, folks, and it's given you food for thought for your own businesses. I mean, after all, that's why we're all listening, right? Particularly on LinkedIn. And today, by the way, we have a double freebie offer as well. So if you want that free LinkedIn health check from Tilly, then contact Tilly directly or follow the registration link that I'll add to the description once this post has gone live and is in replay mode, which will be in a few minutes. So I'll add that link. And if you're seeking to build or develop a high performance team to lead your business, then please contact me for a free consultation. I'll be happy to chat to you. And I'll pop a link into my website as well, so you can contact me directly. So health check from Tilly and a consultation on high performance teamwork from me for your team. So both are available free of charge. And as I said, the links will be directly in the description shortly. So quick word from me. Let me change graphics just for a moment to you, and just make sure that Tilly is and I'll pop it on the, so we don't get that echo. Hopefully we'll get no echo here. So quick word on Leaders Live. Look, and I also want to talk about what's happening next week. I set up Leaders Live very purposefully. It's a kind of edutain feature. It's here to explore high performance team topics informally, with a bit of fun, a bit of back and forth with interesting people just like Tilly, with a mindset and a passion to help business leaders and your business succeed in these rapidly changing times that we're living through. And you've got to be living under a rock if you haven't noticed that times are changing massively rapidly. And, to do this, I think it's really important that this generation of business leaders really get success through the people factor. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And therefore, Leaders Live really taps into our innate human superpower of I to the power of we. So next week on Leaders Live Breakfast Show, I have Colonel David Brownbell talking about the importance of storytelling for high performance teamwork in business. I'm really looking forward to that. Be there or be square, folks. So that's all, folks. It's a goodbye from me, and it's a good day from Tilly. So I'll see you again next week. Thank you very much, folks. Cheers again. Thank you very much and Desson says thanks very much. Very helpful, Tilly. So lovely. Thanks ever so much. Cheers, everybody. Have a great day, or a great evening, or a great afternoon, wherever you are. Cheers for now. Bye.